Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Untitled Reviews. Now, the world of low-profile gaming keyboards is one that seems to have been growing over the last few years, and you're now seeing entries with everybody from Cherry to Logitech getting in on the act, and switches from the likes of Cherry and Kali seemingly adorning keyboards for those who are after a slightly shorter key travel. But really in my searching, there seemed to be one manufacturer that was noticeably missing from that selection, with Razer, who hadn't released a low-profile gaming keyboard up to this point, and it seems to be the fact that they have offered keyboards in every single corner of the gaming keyboard sphere apart from in the world of low-profile ones. But now they look to have proved me wrong by bringing the Razer DeathStalker V2 line to market, with this one being the highly premium DeathStalker V2 Pro, that brings with it some rather powerful red linear low profile optical switches alongside Razer's signature chroma lighting, Synapse 3 software and 40 hours of battery life. On paper it sounds pretty good until you read the price. This is a $249.99 gaming keyboard, whether you're in pounds, dollars or euros. 250 quid is an awful lot of money and puts it right up there with the very best, such as Asus's ROG Claymore 2 and actually above Logitech's G915 by around 30 to 40 pounds or so, at least on retail price. So to live up to that high price, this DeathStalker V2 Pro has got to do quite a lot. Let's find out if it can, shall we? Inside the box, Razer have kept things remarkably easy with the DeathStalker V2 Pro. You get the keyboard itself complete with wonderfully braided USB-C to A charging cable, as well as manual and a little kind of converter box, as it were, that converts if you want to connect to a USB-C port as opposed to an A. So, first things first, let's talk design. Well, fundamentally, the DeathStalker V2 Pro is in keeping with Razer's more kind of modern design direction, offering more of a refined aesthetic compared to other gaming keyboards you'll see around these days, not especially ones at this high price. It certainly looks rather good with a slightly more minimalistic aesthetic, as I say. It's also rather slim, as you'll see, given this is a kind of more of a low profile one, but its slimline chassis hasn't seemed to have led Razer to skimp out on build quality. There's absolutely no deck flex whatsoever at all, and the fact that there is a rather nice smooth metal plate just helps to reinforce that durability as much as the keyboard itself. Nothing really about the DeathStalker V2 Pro, at least without the RGB lights on, really passes off the fact that this is a gaming keyboard, at least if you don't have the RGB lighting on, as I say. There's barely anything to tell you even that it's actually a Razer keyboard unless you look closely, and you'll see that there is a little kind of Razer logo beneath the Alt and Function keys. There isn't the same usual snake-shaped insignia as on a lot of their other keyboards. The bezels around the sides here are also rather thin indeed, which just helps that modern look kind of be eked out as much as it can. You do get, while there are no kind of macro keys and everything is controlled by holding the function key down and any one of F9 through F12 for controlling programming macros on the fly, enabling the game mode and changing the backlighting, you do get a couple of multimedia controls. It's not the same usual play, pause and skip tracks, as it were, but you get this one little button in the corner that controls things. It's kind of a one-stop shop universal control for audio playback, so pressing it a number of times will allow you to play, pause and skip few things, of course. You do also get a nice volume roller here, which offers a good level of feedback and tactility. It's also metal as well, and you can also click it in if you so wish. Unlike the one on Logitech's G915 Lightspeed, this one isn't splinter-inducing with some kind of unfinished metal on the ends, and it's just rather satisfying to use. The keycaps here aren't made of PBT, unlike other premium Razer keyboards like the Huntsman V2 Analog, but made of cheaper ABS plastics, and at least are laser etched, so these rather nice legends Razer have gone with their capitalized font here won't actually be wearing off anytime soon. Unlike those slightly more textured and generally more durable PBT caps Razer have used in the past, these ABS ones feel rather smooth under finger and should be rather durable indeed. PBT would have been nice for a keyboard that's as much as an Xbox Series S, but fundamentally I don't know if PBT keycaps exist yet, so Razer have really worked with what they've got in this case. Of course, a great gaming keyboard should also be one that feels rather responsive and have some good switches. So how do the ones in the DeathStalker V2 Pro stack up? Well, inside here you'll find a choice of either linear or tactile clicky low-profile opto-mechanical switches. Razer seems to have gone all in on the optical side here, generally speaking, and the DeathStalker V2 Pro is no different. The one here features the linear variants here, which should in theory offer both the benefits of a snappy light actuation force with the sheer speed of both a shorter key travel and pretty much instantaneous key presses, given that these are optical switches. Well, I'm pleased to say that 2/3 of that statement are correct. Fundamentally, you do get a responsive key press given the fact that these are optical and also the fact that they offer a slightly shorter key travel. But the key press here, in my experience at least, wasn't the most snappy or kind of responsive, as it were, compared to other linear low profile gaming keyboards I've had the pleasure of testing, such as Cherry's MX10N RGB. The ones here feel, in all due seriousness, a little bit mushy and are perhaps a tad scratchy compared to other linear switches out there. They're almost wet in their key press. That's the only way. It's almost like you've got a little bit too much resistance on the inputs. Fundamentally, it does feel pretty good within games, but the switches are a little bit of a letdown. And this comes from somebody who has really liked Razer's brand of optical switches for a while, and generally their switches in general, which are fundamentally Carly's, have seemed to have got better with time, but these DeathStalker V2 Pros do seem to wind the clock back a little bit, but not necessarily in a good way. On the bright side though, this keyboard, much like some of Razer's other wireless options, can connect via both Bluetooth, Bluetooth 5 in this case, and Razer's hyperspeed dongle that offers a fundamentally latency-free connection over especially long distances. If you're somebody that likes to sit on a sofa and use a PC, that's going to be particularly handy. There was no real latency or interference or anything over hyperspeed, where there was a little bit over Bluetooth. You can also connect to up to 3 devices here, which is rather handy, and that's also switchable on the top 3 buttons that are on the top side of the DeathStalker V2 Pro. It's nice to see some actual tactile buttons for switching between things in a world where things are becoming more gesture controlled or software based. When it comes to battery life, Razer rates the DeathStalker V2 Pro as running for 40 hours or so before you'll need to charge it up, which gives you a working week's worth of gaming before you even need to think about charging it. This is on par with the competition and also beats off some of Razer's other wireless gaming keyboards by a fair amount. For reference, the Black Widow V3 Pro that Razer released last year will only allow you to get around 13 hours or so of backlighting before things conk out. Razer say that 40 hours benchmark is based on running the backlighting at 50% in the default spectrum setting, by the way. Also, there is quite a handy thing with the DeathStalker V2 Pro, not only in the fact that it connects and charges via USB-C, which is wonderful, but also in the fact that its 5 lock lights along the bottom can act as a respective 20% indicator for battery life when you hold down a certain key function. So if you see that there are three lights out of 5 are illuminated when you press the key function, you'll have 60% battery life and 40% for 2 and 20% for 1 and so on. It's quite nice to have that kind of handy quality of life function, and it's not something I've seen in gaming keyboards before, so maybe something that other manufacturers might bundle in the next few months and years with new releases. So what about software and lighting then? Well, Razer have always really kind of pulled any losses back with gains in software and lighting, and the DeathStalker V2 Pro is no different. You get the tried and tested combo of Synapse 3 software and Razer's Chroma lighting engine, which is absolutely brilliant. It's unparalleled. As you'll see from the footage rolling around, the lighting here is absolutely vibrant, and by default it'll cycle through a spectrum of colour. The lighting here doesn't feel underpowered or dim or anything, and actually generally coverage over the keys themselves. It's not patchy or anything, it's illuminating every part of the legend, which is great. Software wise, Synapse 3 remains as functional as usual. There's loads of options to fiddle with in terms of changing lighting, programming functions, or even fiddling with macros, and you can set the lighting in custom modes as much as with presets, which is great if you're somebody who likes to customize until your heart's content. You definitely won't be short of options, as it were, with the combo of the DeathStalker V2 Pro and Razer Synapse, as usual. So, should you buy Razer's DeathStalker V2 Pro? Well, if you're somebody who wants a rather durable and pretty sturdy linear low-profile gaming keyboard, then the DeathStalker V2 Pro has durability and excellent build quality in spades with that sturdy metal plate and general plastic construction. Just tipping the scales at over a kilo or so means this is kind of more of a lightweight option in the general world of full-size keyboards, but it should feel rather durable indeed. Also, if you're somebody that wants to try out low-profile optical switches, then Razer's are certainly provide you with the option. They may not be the smoothest switches in the world, but if this is something you can get past or even go for the tactile ones, indeed, then certainly you'll have plenty to like here. Traditionally, Razer's tactile switches are actually better than their linear ones, so the purple one that will be going on sale in Q4 might be a slightly better option. Also, if you're somebody that wants the best software and lighting combination in the world of gaming keyboards, then this is a fantastic option. Plenty of Razer's gaming keyboards offer Synapse 3 and Chroma lighting, and the DeathStalker V2 Pro is no different. All in all, this is generally a great gaming keyboard. It's well built, offers some fantastic lighting and software, and even though its switches may be a bit of a letdown, it's a great option for those who want the powers of a low-profile gaming keyboard with Razer's traditional charm. Just watch out for the fact that this is 250 quid, so you might want to wait a little bit before pulling the trigger, as Razer sometimes do discount their products on Amazon and the like, and this keyboard could probably drop to as low as 150 or 160 within a few months, which is a slightly more bearable price to swallow than £250,000, or in other words, the same money as an Xbox Series S. Now, all that really remains to be said is that if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and of course subscribe to the channel, and to ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, to follow us on Twitter and indeed Instagram. Links should be appearing on the screen to those right about now. And also down in the description, if you're interested, there'll be a link to the Untitled merchandise store, where you can pick up all manner of t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, wall art, and everything in between. There's a whole load of Untitled related apparel down there. It's all of really good quality, and spring do ship worldwide. So go and check that out if you're interested. And also, if you like any of the kit that we feature in these videos, be it this pretty good Razer DeathStalker V2 Pro, or any of the other gaming keyboards, mice, headsets, multimedia controllers, laptops, and everything in between that we've tested on this channel, then there'll be Amazon links down in the description to those videos, including this one actually, where you can pick all that kit up. So once again, thank you very much for watching.